Okay, here we go. One Piece chapter 1163, Promises. We don't have the cover story to complain about anymore, but we do have a cover art request. Luffy playing with monkeys. Anyway, let's get to the chapter. Imu, he's in Saturn's body, and you have Marines around asking what is going on. They are genuinely confused as to what Saturn is, what the form is, because all of these people, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, they have never seen Imu before. Of course, Imu. Why does this always happen? I feel like we've seen this several times where somebody either gets revealed or they get seen, then they immediately start killing their comrades, right? Katakuri did it. Like, why, bro? They did not do anything wrong. They just saw you. But I guess that's, that's irreverent, right? You're looking at me and asking me what I am. What I am is a god. I told you what I was, a god. To Imu, at the end of the day, everything that he is above everyone. It doesn't matter if they're on his side or they're on the opposite side. Your life doesn't matter. Quite frankly, I do think Imu killing Marines here is important considering who's on the island, but we'll get into that a bit later once we get to the people that this would matter to. But I mean, this is just par for the course when it comes to Imu and the world government. In the midst of it though, as a Marine, you can't do anything but run away because they said attacking is prohibited. So mind you, this is your boss, one of your bosses, killing some of your comrades, and all you can do is run away. Being a Marine gotta be tough. I mean, in moments like this, you gotta be at the situation looking like, okay, how bad do I need the money? All right, like this is crazy. But of course, Imu, it's not just about the Marines. He's going after everybody because even Roger's crew, they got impaled. And Roger's about to go off on his own. And Scopper, he's telling Scopper, yo, stay and take care of these guys. Scopper like, yo, not again. He's like, don't do anything crazy. So they know Roger's body, right? This is what he does. Roger goes away when he's off on his own. He has nobody that can kind of control him or control the things that he does in a way. He's impulsive like Luffy. And Scopper's like, bro, don't do anything crazy because he can't go help. And Rayleigh's already running away with Shaki, so he can't be there. So Roger's on his own. And they understand how reckless Roger can be on his own. So, and they said Roger turns into a demon when his crewmates are in trouble. So Roger, let me see the demon. Demon home. Let's see it. Now to Garp. Garp says, what the hell is this monster? And they say Saturn transformed. And he says, yo, one of the 5 elders. This is a fitting look for one of those maggots. So Garp does have a feeling towards the Gorosei before this island. There's certain things from the Gorosei that they've done, that they've said that Garp feels like they're maggots. What are those things? I mean, bro, here's the truth to this. Garp has seen things around the world. He knows who's in power, who's in charge. And he understands it is the will of them for things to be this way. That's why they're maggots. I don't think Garp understood how bad it was. So he hates them at the end of the day. And they're like, yo, Vice Admiral, keep it down. Something to be said about the people trying to protect Garp from himself, where Garp does not care. The people around him care more than he does. And I think, personally, because, well, Garp is lovable, likable, and they know he'd do anything to keep them safe, right? So is Garp a good man? Hard to say. Is Garp an honorable man? Absolutely. So that's one thing that we can 1000% say for certain. Now, good, I'm saying hard to say based on how everybody feels about him. Personally, I think Garp is a good man, just based off of his code, to me. But Garp does not like the Gorosei and the Celestial Dragons for good reason. Prior to God Valley somewhat just confirmed how he felt about them, which I get it. Now, for these travesties, are you still held accountable while being a part of this organization and honestly upholding what they're doing because you're part of the organization? Yes, you're held somewhat accountable, but how can you impact what's going on here in the role that you're in? That's kind of the conversation and where it always goes. Rox and Imu, they meet again from that amazing panel, one of the best panels in One Piece, where Rox is threatening Imu, saying he will return. And Rox basically says, yo, I think promises are meant to be kept. And Imu was asking, yo, are you Davy Jones? I think that question is important. Because Imu, you should know clearly that is not Davy Jones. It could be a situation, are you from Davy Jones's lineage, right? It's almost like, are you a Jackson, right? Like something like that. Like, is that your last name? So Rox is like, yo, I'm here to return the promise. But Rox felt like he couldn't back then. What's changed? I mean, he has much stronger allies with him, allies for the most part. But Imu was like, yo, this is why you got to get taken out, right? Just that's the reason why. I'm like, why? Because he's Davy Jones, or from the lineage of Davy Jones. That's essentially what he's saying. I think it's important when Imu's saying his world remains incomplete, meaning there are more things, and he has a vision for what the world should be, what the world needs to be. And I think it's interesting as well that that complete world has to do with the destruction of islands. Like, so to complete the world, you have to remove certain things for it to be complete. So we got to get some more context as to what Imu exactly means as far as a complete world. I think that was important to kind of see there. Possessive, right? That's how Imu speaking from his perspective. The world is mine. It's not complete. And for Rox, he's saying the world isn't yours. And he goes back to, again, what Van Augur said, what Rox said back then, as far as like the world. And I think their view of the world is going to be different as far as like what they value, obviously. For Rox, is it power? For Emu, is it people? Like, where does the value lie when it comes to these specific characters? Or even Blackbeard, right? The world and what it means to everyone else. I mean, it could just be control over every passing thing. It could be control over the people. It could be control over the power. If I have the power, I rule the world. So we just got to get more context as to what an incomplete world is. But ultimately for Rox, he's saying it doesn't matter because it doesn't belong to you. Back to Garp. It always has to be stated with Garp that we understand what he is. He is a walking contradiction, considering that he's a D working for the world government, being almost the face of the Marines. Not almost. He is the face of the Marines. But we have a moment here where Rox is going after Saturn, and they're asking, should they provide backup? And Garp is saying, yo, yes, of course we should, because this guy is killing Marines. And they're like, wait, backup for whom? Because the Rear Admiral, they're asking the Rear Admiral if they should provide backup for. Garp is like, nah, we should provide backup for Rox. This guy was killing Marines. I don't care if he's the head of everything, the head of the snake. He's not doing something that's right. So again, Garp, from the Marines' perspective, you're going against a subordinate. I mean, you're going against a superior. That's wrong. But from the Marines' perspective, he's going against whomever is doing something wrong. So I think this moment exemplifies what Garp's character is. Meaning, I do not care who it is. If you're doing something bad, something wrong, you deserve to be checked or taken down. I do not care who it is. If you're doing something right, something good, I can respect it. It doesn't matter who you are. So Garp, when it comes to identity politics, bro, it's about the fabric of your character. Right? Who are you? Not what are you? I gotta say, I love Garp for that. Love it. Okay? A small part of the chapter, but I think it's significant because Oda does highlight it. The pirates are running away with the treasure, because that's what pirates do. They pillage, right? And they take. Just take. Running away with the treasure. Treasure art. It's extremely valuable. We go to Captain John. And Captain John, you know, we speculated last week because we saw, not last week, or maybe week before last, or maybe not last week. Last week was a break. So even before then, Captain John had a metal arm. They're like, yo, Captain John, metal arm. I mean, he could just be Captain Kidd's dad or relative or whatever. It could be a signal that Captain John, he's the same as Captain Kidd with the devil fruit. Confirmed this chapter. The magnet fruit is here. The damned one, Jika, is back. However, I do think whomever has this devil fruit might be cursed, because John looked amazing, right? He uses devil fruit, right? Big eater. And they believe that that's Bonnie's epithet, and then, you know, Kid going against Big Mom, who's a big eater herself. But either way, big eater pulls everything back. Even Dragon is getting pulled back because he has metal on him. Whatever. Decent use of the fruit. Like, you know, nothing crazy. Not like Kid making a bowl. Decent use of the fruit by Captain John. I'm like, yo, Captain John. We got to put Captain John above Kid at this point, no? Let's slow down. Let's slow down a little bit with the boy Captain John, all right? This furthers, like, just how amazing the Rox crew was. That we had somebody like Captain John, which is obviously on a lower tier than a lot of the other combatants, which we weren't sure how strong Captain John was. He was a dark horse in my mind as far as, like, power, influence. We know influence was crazy because, you know, he's even talked about in Thriller Bark, even after that with Captain John and his treasure. But it was like, okay, how much can you back up the thing or the legend, right? It looked great. Pulling all the treasure in. It's like, yo, he doesn't care. He's pulling all the treasure from all the pirates. He's welcoming all the smoke. Ganzui. And again, Oda's doing God's work, right? That's a little blasphemous. Oda's doing great things by confirming, like, some of these devil fruits. So one, he confirms the devil fruit for not only Captain Kidd, but also Mr. 5. Ganzui, he calls it Sky Snake Red Cannon. Now, I don't know how he get that from a booger bomb, but let's just play it out. Long booger, right? Some blood from the nostril. Roll it up. Sky Snake Red Cannon. Boom. That's the only thing I got. Unless he's just trying to make it greater than it is because he knows it's just a booger bomb. Either way, that booger bomb takes down Captain John. One booger bomb? The damned one gets taken out. I believe that is a running joke in Oda's studio that if you have this fruit, bad shit just happens to you. The fruit is cursed. Once we get to Two Piece later down the road and we see it, we gonna see that everybody that gets this fruit, bad things gonna happen to them. It's gonna be like a Halloween episode. Just wait, I promise. It's gonna be a Halloween episode where bad things are just gonna happen to people that have this stuff fruit. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's funny because for Ganzui, Shiki comes along. He's like, yo, why did you attack John? Ganzui tells him the value of the valuables. And he's like, well, what? And he's like, I understand why people want them for themselves. And then obviously he's going after Shiki now. It seems like the booger bomb, the booger flick, that's like one of his, that's like his pistol. But Ganzui, when we saw him in Thriller Bark, he had no legs. Shiki's about to take his legs. And that might be the karma for Shiki why he lost his legs, because he took Ganzui's legs, right? I think Ganzui's about to be legless after messing with Shiki because okay, listen. You're part of the Rocks Pirates, right? You're not on the upper echelon with me, Lin, even Kaido. You're a role player. Understand your role. Gonzo didn't understand that. He got too big for his britches. Booger bomb. Boom. Worked on Captain John. Took out Captain John, Shiki, booger bomb. No legs. Wait on it. You're out of your mind, Ganzui. Either way, the panel that all this leads up to, I think, is one of the most beautiful. Bro, I was reading the panel and I held it back, right? I held it back because I'm a G. I'm reading the panel and the lead up, the build up, I think is phenomenal. But once we get to the panel where we have 6 of the strongest pirates in history, 6 of the top 10 strongest pirates in history, like no BS, or strongest characters in history, they combine for an attack and I'm overwhelmed with emotion, right? Because first time seeing Whitebeard use a named attack, Whitebeard and Roger and Garp and Rocks, right? And Kaido and Big Mom all working together. All these characters working together, and we see it all in the same panel. Emotion, tears welling up. Let me hold it down because we've been waiting, bro. Like, we've been watching and reading One Piece for so long, and to see this panel be real, not fan art, not any BS on Twitter. This is a real panel. Not only was I moved by what happened in the chapter, I'm also moved by the fact that the anime is going to do this absolute justice. You think Akainu is about absolute justice? This animation team is about to completely destroy this episode. It's going to be so good. Either way, Big Mom and Kaido are still arguing, of course, because Kaido took her death, which she was supposed to give to Katakuri. And they all converge for this huge attack on Imu. Guys, I don't mean to overstate this, but after this attack, personally, I don't think God Valley should still be standing. Y'all can let me know if I'm exaggerating, but I think God Valley should be gone, right? Like, God Valley should not exist. I think this also speaks to the character of all these individuals, somewhat, because they all have their own reasons, right? Like, for instance, I don't think Big Mom is here because she's trying to go against Imu or Satmu, whatever the hell it is. And Kaido's here to show off. Whitebeard is genuinely here to help. Garp is genuinely here because he's a good man. Roger's here because, well, you hurt my people. And Rox is here because, well, we have promises that need to be kept at the end of the day. So, and again, no attack, no combined attack, in my opinion, will ever be as powerful as this combination attack that we see in front of us. Ever. That's my sentiment. That's how I feel about it. That's how much I value these characters and their power. Power, influence, all of it. Honestly, there might not be a more, like, an assembly of characters together with more influence at one time, ever. Like, this is an all-star lineup, but it's not a regular all-star lineup. The all-stars of all-stars. These are your favorite pirates, and a Marine. Right? Like that. This is the lineup. You have arguably the GOAT Marine, the greatest pirate of all time in Roger, right? Top 2. One of the greatest pirates in Whitebeard. Some people top 1, top 2, based on like how you view Whitebeard versus Roger. You have Big Mom, the greatest female pirate of all time, right? You have Kaido, who's one of the strongest creatures of all time. Then you have Rox, who is one of the forgotten heroes because of, politics or whatever. But he is one of your favorite pirates' favorite pirate. Like, genuinely, a golden lineup never will be matched again. I don't care who it is. I don't care who. You could assemble the best pirates from today. It would be Luffy, right? Akainu, right? Let's say Kainu's the strongest Marine right now. Blackbeard, right? But then you get to like, what is Law? If you want to do Big Mom, Kaido, but then it's like you're just pulling from the past, right? Buggy? I mean, Buggy with influence. With strength, influence though. Shanks, it looks good, but it ain't this. Sorry, it ain't this. The crazy part about this is that after all that, after the strongest combination attack we've ever seen, Emo, of course, is affected, right? Wrong. Emu spews out Conqueror's Haki, knocking out Marine still. It is completely unaffected by this attack. What are we doing? What is this character? What, genuinely, I'm confusion with Emu and this character because this is insane. Of course, on the other end, we have Shanks. Shanks, somehow, I don't even know how this happens. Somehow, whilst Dragon is holding Shanks, he gets replaced by a log. Shanks uses substitution jutsu to get away from Dragon and somehow finds a chest. And that chest obviously becomes the chest that Roger finds Shanks in. Unless Shanks can teleport himself, Dragon, what the hell are you doing? How do you replace? How does a log get replaced for Shanks? I'm not going to go as far as calling Dragon incompetent because he's doing more than he was supposed to do here. But how does that even happen? Unless Shanks can teleport on his own. Like, that's something Shanks did as a baby unconsciously. Who knows, right? Be like, whoa, whoa, Shanks says, oh, you know me. No, like, what? But shout out to Dragon. He still saved him, but that's a little weird. Now, Emu, the Rock's still talking his talk, and he says, there they are, running away in the forest. Because everybody's having their own personal squabbles. Again, this is not important to everybody the same way it is to Rocks. Roger and Garp, right? They're like, yo, my attack was all it took. Kaido and Big Mom, they're like, yo, pay me back. Kaido's like, I can't throw up the devil fruit. Lin, what do you want me to do? I already got it. Chill. She's like, well, pay me back. And Rocks is talking to Emu. Emu's like, there they are. In the forest running. What are you talking about? Where Emu can sense or knows that Eris is running away with Blackbeard. And I'm like, how the hell? Of course, people saying observation hockey. My Quam, and of course, guys, I'm always going to find a Quam, right? I'm Quam Man. My Quam, I think there was a YouTuber called Quam Man back in the day that I used to watch. I think he talked about Dragon Ball Z. Yes, either way. My Quam is Emu has this absurd, disgusting observation hockey where he can sense exactly where Eris is with Blackbeard. How did Sabo get to the throne room? How did Wapol get to the throne room and get away? How did Rocks even get to the throne room? Because again, people can be like, well, observation is passive, which it is. It's not an active thing that you have to really activate it, or it's not passive. You have to activate observation hockey. This is the time when the world government was being attacked. Mary Joelle was being attacked in both times. So Emu would have to be on red alert. How? Unless Emu just doesn't care. Or the only thing consistent about observation hockey is inconsistency. So we're going to go with that. Like, that's where we're going to. Either way, Emu knows exactly what's going on, and Rocks is petrified. I thought where this was going to go was Rocks was going to say, okay. What do you need me to do? Spare them. I do anything that you need me to do. Apparently that didn't need to happen. Rocks goes after Emu because he's upset, tries to slice him up. Emu impales Rocks, and he says, no, I'm not going to do nothing. You gonna do something. You gonna be the one to kill your wife and child. And Rocks is like, what the hell are you talking about? Funny enough, when Rocks gets stabbed, he's like, yo, this doesn't hurt or itch. Like, what is this? Why are you inside me and I don't feel anything? You're gonna know in a second. To our dismay, my dismay, I'll say, Domi Reversi. And we see Rocks turning into one of these demons that can do Emu's bidding. And the goal, of course, is for Rocks to go and eliminate his family. Now, obviously, Blackbeard doesn't get eliminated, but Eris, maybe. Here's my issue, guys. Domi Reversi feels too broken. It feels cheap. So you're telling me that he can go into contract with all these people without them wanting to do it? These are my thoughts before having any knowledge of what's going on. I'm thinking, yo, Rocks is going to adhere to this because, well, he wants to save his family. So that's how Emu controls it. Because I'm like, there's no way Emu can just take over Rocks without any prior approval. Like, that's just the power? Clearly, that's just the power. He can just do that. But, man, that's broken. But of course, Emu. I had a live stream. People mentioned Emu having an 800-year head start. He should be this broken. Everyone should go against him. I do want to know, like, how, because the God Knights, they're different from Emu, right? Clearly. How do you beat it? How do you beat it? But it feels cheap. And initially when I read it, I was like, whoa, this is a bit crazy. Then I thought about it. I was like, we have no idea as far as Domi Reversi, the limitations, the reasons. The theory that people are running with now is that the reason why this is possible is because, well, you can do it when the person is in their homeland, because Domi Reversi means return home. That's what people are saying. So if they're in their homeland, you can Domi Reversi them to do your bidding for a certain amount of time. Harold seemingly got Domi Reversi in his homeland. Obviously, Rocks got Domi Reversi in his homeland. And they could go back to the question about Davy Jones, where Emu's asking the question to confirm that you are in God Valley, right? We're here. Now I can use my Domi Reversi. I don't know. I don't mind that at all. There's some other theories about generational curses where Davy Jones and that bloodline was always gifted to or promised to Emu to be controlled. So that bloodline is being controlled by Emu. When you think about Harold and the Giants, Could be a situation like that as well. So there's some people crashing out about the Dome Reverse, saying it feels cheap. I don't like it. It's limiting Rocks and just his impact to just like being taken over that easily. I'll say this: I have no idea what it is. We don't know the parameters. We don't understand it. We have to see it through before we jump to conclusions. Right now, I can understand. It feels cheap. It feels like Emu can do whatever the hell he wants to do, which he has been doing. But then questions come up. Why didn't Emu do this to other characters that were against him? Why didn't Emu do this to Roger when Roger was captured? Why didn't Emu just go to the Impel Down and just Dome Reverse all these people to do his bidding? Don't know enough. How long does it last? Is it forever? But then when you go into history, the annals of history, this betrayal, this reversey, I think it's littered throughout. Lily, Sunisha, Emeth. This power single-handedly probably changed history, even to the kings, right? The 1920 kings. Maybe they were Domi Reversied. But what about Nefertari? Why weren't they Domi Reversied? So yes, this answers a question as to how Rocks probably got defeated, because that's where the propaganda probably came from with Roger and Garp versus Rocks. But we need more. We absolutely need more when it comes to this conversation. I'm sad. I'm saddened because Rocks, not going to say he was a good man, but he was honorable. And I think he grew on a lot of us, grew on the fandom. And to see him go out like this with just a Domi Reversie, I don't know. I don't love it. I don't love it, but I'm waiting to see how it plays out, to see where it goes. I read through this chapter quite a few times, and my takeaway was like, I can't believe you're reading this right now. I can't believe this is something we're getting right now. Like, y'all, we've been waiting for this for such a long time when it comes to these characters, and we are getting a combination attack from Whitebeard, Roger, Blackbeard, Rocks, Big Mom, Kaido, Garp, all going after the same person, and it didn't work. And the island that they were on is still intact. Now, there's something that Emu is clearly wary of in the Abyss. Why would Emu be wary of anything considering the power that Emu has? This is insane. Guess we gotta wait and see. Guys, give me your thoughts. How did you feel about this chapter? There's more here. There's more here to discuss. Our true feelings about Garp. If this is Rocks' end, what was he as a character? Does he manage to fight back against the Domi Reversie to protect his family? For Emu, just what is it? How powerful is it? Give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for content like this. Follow me on Twitter at B.D.A. Follow me on Instagram at B.D.A. Thank you to my patrons. This would not be possible without you. Thank you so much. If you'd like to become a patron, a link in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much. Reactions, whatever, all there. Again, like, subscribe. Also, if you're interested in One Piece conversations, we do have chats within the Patreon where you don't have to pay to join. You just have to be a member. And people are talking One Piece as the chapter is coming out in the chats on Patreon. So check it out if you want to talk some more One Piece or just see some other stuff. Either way, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.